So James, let's talk about Zoom etiquette. Obviously we're a year into this virtual environment nearly. And so a lot of people have become accustomed to Zoom. There's also the idea of Zoom fatigue or Zoom overload. But what about the employer who wants to have meetings with their staff and their employees won't turn on their cameras? Like, this is an
Right.
interesting issue. What are they to do in that scenario?
So it's a balancing test. I'm seeing issues where people are being drunk at home, drinking on the job. And
Yep.
I'm seeing on the other side, I'm seeing some people express it takes them an hour and a half to get ready for work. So they enjoy saving that time when they don't have any client interaction. So I guess
Okay.
the real question is, are part of their job duties managing a team and having interaction with other people? Because they say a picture can say 1,000 words. And if you are, with your camera off, it looks like you're disengaged, probably checking email, probably typing and doing other things and not giving your undevoted attention to the meeting.
Okay. So you brought up a couple other things though that are kind of interesting. So what's the standard for professional appearance on Zoom? Can somebody get reprimanded for having an unprofessional appearance? Are there legal limitations there? And also the idea that maybe you sense an employee is drunk on the job during the day. So
right. So I've had both those issues. Step one would be to identify your policies, and most companies don't have a virtual appearance policy. So maybe you should, lay down the policy so people aren't surprised or at least aware of the expectation on that issue. So I would recommend updating your policy of what you expect for that client. As far as being drunk, we're not all doctors and experts, but if somebody's having slurred speech and appears to mumble and not be their normal self, you are allowed to ask them what's going on, or potentially write them up for performance issues and let them respond with a reasonable excuse as to why they're having those issues. But being drunk on the job is not a protected class. So if somebody is drunk, you could terminate them. But if they call you and ask for help, like they're going into rehab center, then that could be a disability accommodation where you don't want to retaliate against them for seeking help.
So if you suspect they're drunk, though, you wouldn't have any way of having concrete evidence, obviously, with them being, at their home and you potentially being at your home. So really, at that point, it's a suspicion, but very hard to prove.
Well, so there's also a lot of policies that companies have involving suspicious drug testing. So you could ask them, if they've been drinking, have them go to the local police station and take a urine test or a breathalyzer test, depending on your policy.
Okay. Now, but then you might be asking them to get in the car while they're drinking.
Fair point. So you may want to have somebody come to them, or maybe have some arrangement where you could send somebody or see if they could get an Uber to achieve that.
Okay. Well, these are lots of the sticky issues that we weren't dealing with months ago at the same degree or at the same level.
Technology in real life is always ahead of the law. So to the extent you can think about these issues, you are able to draft your own policies and procedures to protect your company.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. This is a really interesting one. So appreciate your perspective there. And I'm certain a lot of employers are dealing with this. We actually have a couple of clients in the recovery space, and they've told us that, patients or clients coming in for treatment has reduced significantly because people aren't on the road, and DUIs would be a major kind of triggering event for getting, treatment. So it'll be interesting to see. It's a sad situation to see kind of what's going to transpire when things open up a bit more.
Yeah, some interesting stats are suicides at a 300% increase. So, mental health is very important. So even regardless of legalities, you want to take care of your people.
Absolutely.